if you are not able to lead yourself, there's a good chance you're going to sway to what other people have to tell you.
Warm welcome to another episode of the Monday Morning Learning Podcast. Very excited to have Kaushi Biddappa on my show today. Great morning to you, Kaushi. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you so much.
And any welcome words before I go ahead with the introduction?
I think just two words, thank you. Thank you for the warmth and the encouragement this morning.
Perfect, Kaushi. So in a fast-paced world filled with endless choices and challenges, how do we find true purpose, embrace self-discovery, and achieve personal transformation? Now, the Morning Learning Podcast dives deep into these essential life themes, guiding listeners through the power of intentional growth, personal branding, and sustained motivation. So through expert conversations like with Kaushi and thought-provoking insights, the podcast empowers individuals to unlock their full potential, develop meaningful careers, and navigate life with clarity, confidence, and energy. Great. So, Kaushi, as we discussed, there are two large themes for this podcast. One is on self-leadership, and the other is on self-awareness. And before I go into the themes, I quickly want to introduce you to my audience. So in a career spanning 17 years, Kaushi worked with two major global brands, America Online, AOL, and General Motors, GM. At AOL, she found her bearing. At GM, she began her transformational journey. Kaushi spent 12 wholesome years with GM as the in-house communications leader, with strategic emphasis on internal communications and employer branding. In terms of building the culture of organization, leadership without titles and start with why is where she have had the most impact. So what makes Kaushi come alive? Journaling, practicing guided meditation, reading, making funny videos, and spending time in nature. Now, she sees herself as an advocate for well-being. She writes about too. And her downtime taught her that she could drive change in a way people think about therapy and mental fitness, which is now her elixir of life. Now, deeply follow how you show up matters. And Kaushi sees her son as her youngest teacher and her husband as a medium who catapulted her spiritual growth. Grateful to her community of supporters who teach her shared humanity. That's about it, Kaushi. That's an intro for you. Anything else you want me to say?
No, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks. So let's dive into the first theme, Kaushi. This is on self-leadership and the foundation of self-leadership. So a couple of questions, Kaushi, on this is rather are, what does self-leadership truly mean and why it is essential in both personal and professional life? And adding to that, how can individuals identify and align their actions with their core values and purpose?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question. And I think this is a question that we tend to ask early in life, and more so because when we enter the workforce, something that I noticed, Ravi, was there is an essence of power that comes with positions and titles and roles. And very early in your journey, you're not going to have all those titles because it's a path that we are on. So I discovered when you are not there as yet, how do you lead? How do you lead from within becomes a big part of the conversation. And that's when I read Robin Sharma's book, which is a leadership without titles, lead without a title. How can you lead without a title? Becomes a much more significant dialogue. And I took away a lot of the essence from there and figured out if one can stay focused on how can you lead from within, the externals don't deter you. You're not feeling incompetent or inadequate, because if you rely on titles, there's a good chance you're always going to find yourself in a room full of titles, and then you're just constantly comparing yourself. I'm not saying it's not good, but there's a good chance you won't know when to stop doing that. So, which is why leading from within becomes self-leadership, and don't rely on titles, and because it's very easy to draw identity from these spaces. So that's on the work front. On the personal front, I realized if you are not able to lead yourself, there's a good chance you're going to sway to what other people have to tell you. And I'm not saying that you're not going to be open to feedback. It's important to be open to feedback. But what is your true essence? What drives you is another interesting dialogue that we venture into. And like you highly pointed this and very beautifully pointed, it's like how knowing our values. I remember reading a book which said, even if you do not know your purpose, work towards understanding your values because your values and your purpose are closely linked. Another exercise I've seen people in the leadership space do is like, if you're unsure about what your purpose is, list down the things that you will do, and you will do it because you love doing it. Your essence of purpose comes through. However, I have found meaning in understanding what my values are, and then from that space, discover purpose.